My name is Wendy Perry. I'm with Cottage 321 in Hudson, North Carolina. We are smack dab in the middle of, there's Hickory on this side and Lenore on this side on Highway 321, and we're right in the middle. Middle of nowhere is what I like to say. Let me know if you are watching. Let me know what's going on. I am just going to pull up Facebook really quick to see if it is actually going live. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. As usual, it's a hot mess. Yep, it's working. Let me turn it back off. I appreciate y'all joining me. I'm going to pull Facebook up just so I can see the live going on, but I'll turn the sound off. Does that make sense? And maybe I can see your questions. I'm supposed to be able to see any questions or comments as they're on here. So if y'all have any questions for me, please go ahead and ask. I apologize. I'm afraid if I touch my camera, it will unhook from the live. So anyway, we're going to get this party started real quick. Let me pull up the Facebook Live real quick so I can see if there's any questions or if you guys are even watching. Here it is. Let me turn the sound off. There we go. So I got it up right here. Okay, so Hot Mess Monday, I just started. This is a way for me to get back to doing DIY projects again. If I schedule it to be done, then it gets done. So we are going to do some projects together today, and hopefully we can get at least 3 projects done. We did 3 last week, and I've actually had them in the store, but there was one here I kind of wanted to finish with you guys. And this is this pumpkin. I did not get around to getting it finished. So we're going to do it together today. Let me push my computer out of the way so you guys can see my pumpkin. And what we're going to do first is put a coat of our farmhouse paint on here just to get her primed and ready to go. I like to, we already glued this on top with our wood glue, and these are IOD molds. This is from the sunflower mold, and I love the sunflower mold, and I just think that turned out really, really pretty. So what we're going to do now is put one coat of farmhouse paint on here and set it aside and let it dry, and then we will grab another item to start doing DIY stuff on. Again, if you are watching, let me know where you're watching from. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what time it is where you are. If you're watching here, it's about 11:10. We got started a little bit late. But give me some hearts and thumbs up. Let me know you're watching. I appreciate it. Let's see here. I am looking for some paints. And that was one of my things, is like I got started late and I didn't get all my stuff set up that I wanted to. Wanting to use white ash, and I don't see it up here. I am going to use some of this is Lotus. We're going to use some of that color for our sunflower. But let me see. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Let me find my white ash really quick. It's back behind the camera. I apologize. This is gray, pink lady. Where is my white ash? Well, let's use cotton white. Since I can't find white ash, we'll use cotton white. I know I used it last week, but there's no telling where I put it. I tried to clean up my shelves and stuff. And this may be dried out a little bit. This is the old can. They now have new cans. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. It's dried out. Where did I put my white ash? Hang on just a second, guys. We might have to go with a different color just because I can't. Right, there it is, right in front of my face. Right in front of my face. I'm going to shake it up really good. We are going to dip straight from the can. I don't suggest that you do that. The best way to use farmhouse paint, especially if you're doing little projects, is to pour it out onto something and use a little bit at a time so you don't contaminate your can. But this is white ash. This is our #1 color. It's a beautiful creamy white. So what I'm going to do right now is we are going to put a coat of white ash to give this a primer, kind of prime it with white ash here. And let's just get started. So, okay, why did I call this Hot Mess Monday? Because I am a hot mess, y'all. I stress myself out. I sabotage myself. I don't know if y'all have the same problems, but you know, I had this whole plan planned out in my head, and then one thing goes wrong in the morning and it just throws everything into a tailspin. And so I got here a little bit late. I left my camera at home. Luckily, I only live 5 minutes from where I work. So I had to run back home, get my camera. I get it set up. The battery's dead. Got to get the battery fixed, you know, get a new one in there. Luckily, I had one charged and ready to go. But, and then I had played around last week with the Facebook setting, trying to do like a different kind of stream. And anyway, I wasn't able to do that. And that's why I was a little bit late on Facebook. I apologize. But that's kind of the reason I have changed this name for these lives, the Hot Mess Monday, because I don't know, y'all. Mondays are just hard. And anyway, I'm a hot mess. That's all I can say. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just putting a good coat of the white ash on top. I'm just going to put a little bit on the top part just so that the clay has a little bit of a coating to it, because it's going to, whatever coat I put on it next, it'll really soak down into it because it's very porous. We're going to set this down here in just a minute once I get one coat on, and obviously we're going to have to put a second coat. But I appreciate y'all joining me, whether you watch it live right now or if you're watching the replay. I appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could give me a like, and even better, a subscribe, it really helps me out. I appreciate that. And I'd love it if y'all would comment and let me know where you're from, what you're doing. Have you ever used farmhouse paint? Let me tell you a little bit about it. It's made in Georgia, and the it is a woman-owned business. The owner's name is Susie, and she is really sweet. She has taught me a couple classes on this, and if you like, you can find Susie on YouTube with some of the farmhouse paint products. But she sells to wholesaler, or she sells to vendors like me. So I am a stockist of farmhouse paint. I think they do sell to the public online, but they are mainly sell wholesale to people like me. And how I came to find this paint is honestly, it's because it's a one and done kind of thing. It has the built-in, let me use this. Actually, I'll use this. It has I don't want to say it has a built-in primer, but it kind of does. It like, you don't have to sand your product. You don't have to sand your piece before you paint it. Like if you're painting furniture or cabinets, you just have to make sure it's good and clean. I like that. So no pre-sanding, and then you don't have to put a top coat. Once you get the look and feel of what you want, whether you add glazes or you just do a couple coats of farmhouse paint, you can distress it, clean it, and you're done. Now, if it's going to have a lot of use, be outside, or maybe it's a dining room table that gets a lot of abuse, you can put a top coat on it to give it extra protection. But most pieces of furniture and decor, you do not have to do a top coat on it. And that's why I picked farmhouse paint. And then once I used it, I've done many, many pieces. I've done several kitchen makeovers. I've painted my parents' kitchen. I've painted my daughter's kitchen with farmhouse paint, and it's held up very well, and I love it. It's just a really easy. So we're going to set this guy aside. As you can see, there's the first coat here. I think I only had to put one more coat on the bottom. I'm going to let that dry for a little bit, and we're going to go on to our next project. So I've got a couple little candlesticks that have been sitting around that I've been wanting to repaint. I've got two here, it's a matching set, and they're actually fine all on their own, but I just want to paint them and make them look a little bit more farmhousey. These cost me, I'm pretty sure I got these at the Habitat store in Lenoir, North Carolina, the Habitat Resource Store. That's my favorite place to go to find awesome home decor or even furniture. And that's where I found these. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean these guys. And I'm not going to use anything hardcore. TSP is awesome, but I only use that when it's a really, really old, like piece, like that's got tannins and stuff in it. This is not really wood. It's kind of a cast of some sort. So I'm just going to wipe it down with some water. Whoops. I'm going to wipe it down really good. I actually think I will leave this big one to the side so you can see it before and after, and we'll just do this one. If you guys are just joining in, let me know where you're from. Give me a thumbs up, a heart, whatever you can do on Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, give me a like. I'd appreciate it. So what I'm doing right now is just cleaning all the dirt off of it. And we are going to give this a coat of our farmhouse paint real quick. And this is white ash. This is my #1 color. We have over 50 colors. If you go to my website, cottage321.com, and go under DIY, you can see all the different colors underneath that. So right now, I'm just going to paint it. Give it a really good coat. We'll try not to let it be drippy. So there's several ways you can do farmhouse paint. I'm going to show you one here real quick. You can put wet paint on just like this. You really should use a lint-free cloth, but you can wipe it down just like that to give it a washed look. You see the difference? Or you can wait and sand it back. Sometimes to me, this is easier than sanding. I kind of like that look. And then I might come back and sand some more. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do with this. It's really getting that farmhousey kind of look. By wiping it back, it's kind of like a natural distress. It's almost like we're whitewashing. I didn't water down the paint because I really want it to be, you know, more significant. I want it to really not be translucent. I want it to get that paint on there and have that color. Now, you see me jabbing. That's just to get down into the nooks and crannies. The brush I'm using right now is called the Round. We sell these on our website as well. This is really good for this kind of project. And then we have another one called the Grip. And it's great for flat surfaces, like for big furniture pieces and stuff like that. No questions yet. I hope y'all are having an awesome Monday. Mine's starting out hot mess. That's why I named this Hot Mess. So what I do with all these projects, sometimes if we don't get them completely finished on the live, I will finish them and then try to post a picture back so you can see the final product. If I wanted to, I could do 2 coats on this and then sand back, but sometimes sanding is not that fun, so I cheat and I go like this and I just wipe it down. Y'all see that? I just wipe it off, and so it's just getting the high areas. It's just getting the high areas of the piece, and I'll probably come back and sand even a little bit more. It's a good way to get all your drips, smooth it out. If y'all can see that at all. So I'm going to kind of leave it like this, and then after this dries, I'm going to come back with my sandpaper and sand it for a little bit even more distressing. So really only going to do one coat on this guy. It's really quiet out there. I hope you guys can hear me okay and see me okay. All right. I'm just going to slightly rub that. I'm going to leave the top black. Let's see if I can get these edges down here. I see a little bit of discoloring coming out, but we'll see. I may even do some more like with our glaze here to make it look even more old. But you can see here's the before, what it looked like. And it's still wet, but here's kind of the after. And we're going to do a little bit more distressing to that, but I kind of like that. I'm going to leave that there. Right there. All right. Let's see. So my pumpkin's still a little bit wet. Now, let me show you something I started working on. I think I just got paint on my face. I've been working on this for a little while. I got this canister set. I've got a 3-piece canister set. Here is the tall one. Here's the little one. And then I started playing with it. And here is what it's going to end up looking like. And we're going to put either a transfer or we're going to stamp it. And this is also the white ash color with a little bit of texture in it. So anyway, so let me give you a good look. That's your before. And here is your after. And of course, it's not the complete after, but just to let you know. So this is just like, I found these, again, probably at the Habitat store. They were like $2 a piece. I grabbed the whole set because I know that these are going to be really, really cute once they're either got transfers on them or stamps. So let me show you how I got this on here. And the first thing you got to do, I think I've pre-cleaned this, but maybe I haven't. I like to take these apart because as you can see, it's really dirty and it gets like there's crud and stuff underneath this rim and even up in here around this edge. So I take this completely apart. This part right here, if you take it and you squeeze it together, you can pop that lid off. See if I can get it off real quick here. You can pop that off and you can even slide this part off. Boom. Now I can actually get in that groove, and I don't know if y'all can see all that crud down in there. Now I can get in there and really clean it. I'm going to wet it really good. Yep, even get my little scrubby brush out here. And I am going to scrub that. It's probably coffee grounds or whatever they kept inside this little canister gets down in those grooves. And I just want it to be good and clean. So now I'm just going to wipe it down really good. And it just makes you feel like if you use some Dawn detergent on it, it just makes it feel like, you know, clean, back to normal and sanitized a little bit. Just got the little sticker off. You give you a little tip about stickers. If you ever get a sticker on something and you can't get it off, if you can get a little bit of lemon oil, like the essential lemon oils, it only takes just a little bit. It is great at getting the gooey stickers off and like the film that gets left behind. All right, so this part right here, I kind of got to squeeze this together. There's a little piece here that pops off, and now I can take this part off. So I can even clean this part. I'm going to put this in my sink. Try not to lose all the pieces parts, and I can clean that up better later too. So I'm going to get in here, get that all cleaned up. think I got a little bit of paint on this the last time I was messing with that other one. We'll get in this groove, clean it out really good. Just makes me feel better when I know it's been cleaned thoroughly. Okay, so that's good. All right, let me show you how we're going to get this texture. You can use cornstarch, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to use cornstarch. Clean this out a little bit more. Set that aside. Let me find my cornstarch. I think I stuck it down here. Yes. There is product out there that can give you texture, but I have found that this does just fine. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of this in here. Oops, that's more than enough. That's way too much. Let me put some back. And I use cornstarch in my molds so that they don't stick. Wash my hand off. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix some of our white ash in here, and it's just going to make it a little bit thicker. It's already a little bit thick, so I don't need it to be too much. And since I've got too much, I'm going to just kind of put it over here, let it thicken up just a little bit. And we're going to make a texture on this guy. And I don't know if y'all can see it on here. This one's got some texture to it. And I like that a lot. And it's really good at like covering up wild designs like that. So I'll let it thicken up a little bit here. Keep adding a little bit until I feel like it's the consistency I want. And honestly, you want it to be about like cake batter. Like kind of like that. We're going to try that right there. And I'm just going to use my same brush I was using. We'll start with the lid. I'm going to dip it in, and we're just going to dab it on. We're going to dab it on, let it sit for a couple seconds. I don't want a whole lot of that texture in those grooves because we still got to get that silver little catch thing back on there, that lid part, to make it close back on there. So I don't want to go too crazy in the grooves. I'm going to let it almost dry, and then I'm going to come back with my brush and smooth it out. You could just brush it on if you want, but I don't really want to see brush marks. Got water in there. I think I need it to be a little bit thicker. Yeah. And I actually don't want a whole lot underneath the lid either, because I'm afraid it won't close right if I do too much raised on that part. All right, now let's do the jar. Are y'all doing okay? If you're just joining us, my name is Wendy. I am the owner of Cottage 321 in Hudson, North Carolina. We actually are a boutique, and we carry everything that a woman loves. And like, we have fashion, shoes, jewelry, gifty items, you name it, we got it. And then I am an avid DIYer, so we have farmhouse paint along with IOD transfer molds and stamps. And we also have some JRV stencils and a few other things. We also have garden items like cute flags for all seasons, every day in all seasons. We have a few home decor things, and the list goes on and on. If you want to find out more, come see us if you're local or close to us, or you can visit our website at cottage321.com. We ship anywhere within the United States. All right. That's pretty good. So I might have to come in here, and I might give just like a plain coat of paint after this texture dries a little bit. Let me let that sit. See how that was quick, right? I think I'm going to take, let's see, do I have the hairdryer hooked up? We'll just let that dry. I'm going to set it to the side as well. Set it over here. And then anyway, get the lid real good at the top. So, move this back out of our way. Set that here. Okay, so let's pretend like, ta-da! And I've put it back together. I cleaned, this is the second one that's a little bit bigger. So here is it with texture. I think I did one more coat. I may even lightly sanded it and then did a coat on it, but it's ready to go. And I put my silver, I polished it up, cleaned it up, and put it back on so that it'll open and close good. So, I want to see IOD's new. I really wanted to do the Croc stamp on this guy, and I have one, but I'm out of stock of it in my store and waiting for it to restock with IOD. So there is a new transfer that I'm waiting to get. I think it should be here this week, but this is very similar, and I'm just going to show you. This is the Brocante. It's the new transfer for IOD, and the last couple pages has these cute little guys here. So I think I'm going to take one of those and show y'all how to do it. And if I don't like it, I will take it off by just sanding it off. And then when I get the new transfers that I want to put on there, I will do that. But this will kind of give you an idea. So I need a pair of scissors. Let me make sure there's not another one in here that I could do. Trying to see. I don't see any other ones. I want it to look like an old label. This isn't quite the old label I'm wanting, but it'll give you the idea. And we can change it out if we don't like it later. You know what? Okay, we're going to use this. This is an old IOD decor transfer. It's the classic pots. We're going to use this because I like this better. This looks like what's supposed to go on there. So let's see if we can find one we like. Okay. I don't know if we still have any of this in stock or not, but I'm sure you could find it if you like it. So let's see here. I think I'm going to use, let's use this one up here. So now IOD, this is the older collection of transfer where it was in the tube. They are now coming in pads like this. And I'll just be honest with you, the pads are so much easier to work with. They really are. But I am just going to cut off this guy right here. And the grid lines are awesome. I'm just going to cut it out. I'm going to try to keep the backing on this so that I don't waste any of my other transfers. I can use them on other projects, and I'll probably use them on those guys. Back up. Okay, here we go. We'll turn this around so y'all can see, but basically I'm going to put it right there. I feel like that's center. Hope y'all can see that okay. Let's see if I can make it lift up a little bit. All right, once you got it down, you need to leave it. And then you got to get your little plastic burnisher. see if here we go. Got a little plastic burnisher. It comes with your transfer, and you just start rubbing it on. So the only thing I did to this guy after I did that little rough textured pouncing stuff on that is I think I smoothed it down just a little bit, but still had texture. And then I put one more coat of paint, let it dry, and then you can put a transfer or you can stamp it. I'll be honest, the stamps are really cool. The pot stamps. They're the most, I really like them a lot. But this works too. It's going to be cute. You know when it's down, when your paper goes a little bit clear, and it will kind of just pop off the paper. If you lift your paper up like this, and it's still on the paper, just lay it back down and burnish it a little bit more, like that. Because it has a little more texture, you've really got to get in there and rub it hard so that it's sticking to everything. Let's lift this up. Yeah, it's sticking. Sometimes I forget that I am recording. So this right here, I love to come back in the kitchen areas where I do a lot of the projects here at the store, and I can get lost. This is kind of therapy for me. I can get lost painting things or even doing little projects like this. It just kind of stops the hot mess that's going on in my head and lets me focus on one thing, and it's just really is like therapy to me. All right, let's see if this side is sticking. Yes. So I'm just going to use this, come back and kind of rub it a little bit more, make sure it's on there good. Let me show it to you guys up close. Won't that look cool? So this is the classic pot. I do believe that it may have been discontinued, but they do have some really cool stamps as well. But I think I want to age this a little bit more. So I am going to, actually, let's lightly sand it. Let's see. Here's some sandpaper. I'm going to lightly sand it just to distress it just a little bit more. Make it look old. I'm going to wipe that off. And that looks really, really good. I like that a lot. Now, if you wanted to make it even older, I was thinking about doing my asphatum glaze or either tea glaze on this, but I kind of like it just like that. So I'm going to leave it alone. I think it looks really good. I'll leave it sitting right there. Let's look at, yeah, okay. See how there's some, I don't know if y'all can see, there's some yellow spots popping up. That's kind of like, I don't know if it's dirt or if it's tannins or what it is in this piece, but I honestly don't care because I am going to sand this, wipe it down, and then I'm going to put a glaze over it, and it'll just blend in and make it look aged. So you have to pick and choose your battles, and this one, I'm not going to fight that. I think it's going to be fine. So I want to find, let me find my, put the lid back on my paint. I want to use our sanding sponge, which is an all-time favorite of mine. Where did I put it? Give me 1 second. I think it's over here. I'm not left. I'm just grabbing a sponge. And unfortunately, a lot of times, you can wash these sponges out. As you can see, I've got some red on here. but I'm going to use the white side and hopefully it'll be okay. So I'm just going to go in and just start sanding a little bit more this piece. If y'all can see, I'm going to come up close and sand it so y'all can see it transform in front of your eyeballs. So let me find a piece right here. I think I've got it in front where you can see it. So I just like to sand it. You can even wet sand, which makes even more come off, and see how it just brings out even more detail right there. There's still wet spots. I'm going to try to avoid those. Just go on to the next spot. Isn't that cool? I love that. So the idea here is kind of like when we were wiping the wet paint off. It's the same deal. You're hitting the high spots of the piece, and it really brings out that detail. I don't know if y'all can tell, like this, to me, the detail gets hidden because it's all dark. It's no contrast. And then once you paint it white, it starts popping out. And if you sand it in those high spots, it starts popping and it just looks amazing. And there's even more texture that you didn't see before that's underneath there. Let me kind of wipe this down so you can see it. Look how pretty. I love it. It's turning out beautiful. So this is a technique I love to do with home decor. I do this with lamps. Lamps is my favorite. You can find lamps really cheap at Goodwill and at Salvation Army. There's nothing wrong with them other than they look a little bit dated, especially if they're wood. And I love brass too, because you can paint brass or you can paint metal with farmhouse paint. It actually does really well. It's one of my favorite things. And then when you go back with the distressing, it just looks amazing. Can't say enough about it. I just love it. You get the bottom here. So the thing that I love about the soft sponge is that it's pliable, so it's, you know, curved surfaces like this, it's really easy to use. And if you feel like your paint's not coming off good enough, you can wet it a little bit and it'll come off even better. I just love how this is turning out. It looks really good. All right, so let me show you the base before. And here it is after a little bit of sanding. I think it looks amazing. Keep working on it. And this is very farmhousey, cottagecore, whatever you want to call it. It's going to blend in with your decor very easily. Especially since it's a creamy white, it'll really blend in good. And you could spend days on this sanding it, and it's just going to look more and more better the more you work on it. I really, really like it. All that detail is just popping out. It looks amazing. Let's get this top portion here. I'm going to wet it just a little bit. Y'all see that? It's just, oh, love it. All that texture that was underneath there, the white sticks in the grooves, and it comes off the edges, and it just looks so good. All right, let's wipe her down a little bit. Love it. Looks so good. Now I'm trying to decide if I want to do a stain, if I want to do one of the glazes or not. I think if I do, it should be the tea because of the yellowing that's popping through just a little bit. I may want to go with the tea stain, but I really like the whiteness of this. I'm just hitting little areas that I want a little bit more of the white to come off. I think I'm going to leave her alone. I kind of like it just like that. All right. What do y'all think? So before, before, after. Of course, I'm going to make this one match this one, but I just wanted you to see the difference. Turn it around here in the detail. Turn it around some more so you can see. Anyway, isn't that amazing? I'm looking down at the big screen so I can tell, but I just think that is gorgeous. So I will post a picture later with both of these all dolled up and either some pumpkins or some candles on them, one of the two, and let y'all see how beautiful they turned out. But I think these were $2 or $3 a piece, and they'll probably resell. This will probably resell for 12 to 14, and this one probably be, I don't know, 18 to 20, or I'll do them as a set for like 24, something like that. All right, let's take a look at our, I'm going to look at this guy again. So it's still a little bit damp, which I want it to be. And I'm going to try to smooth out just a little bit. Let's see how it works. Sometimes if you touch farmhouse paint when it's still wet, this has got texture in it, so I'm hoping it won't do it. Sometimes if you retouch it with more paint, it just peels the paint off that you had. So you got to be careful. So I just want to see if I can smooth down some of the ridges a little bit. It's not too bad. And where it's dry, I'm just kind of putting another coat over it. It definitely is going to have to be painted over again because I'm seeing some of the oranges and those folly looking colors popping through. But the top is still kind of wet, so I'm going to leave it alone. I smoothed it a little bit, but I'm afraid if I go too hard, it'll pull the paint off. Let's look at the pot itself. Okay, it's drying really good. Let me see. Yeah. This is just going to pop down some of those ridges just a little bit. And I want it to be kind of random. My brush has still got a little bit of paint on it and some of that texture. Starting to try to pull it off a little bit. But we're going to leave that alone. And I am going to try to finish this whole 3-piece set out as well so y'all can see what it will look like once it's done. This little canister set. And I think these were like $2 or $3 a piece as well. I'll probably sell it as a set. Let's see, probably, I don't know, $29.99, something like that once it's done. All right, I'm going to let that dry some more. Now, let's look at our little pumpkin. Okay. It feels pretty good, but I have some leftover texture over here. And let me show you something. Look, it's sticking. Let me show you something. This pumpkin that was under here is a Dollar Tree pumpkin. Actually, only costs $1. I have a bunch of these at the store if you want one. But it has a, where it's glued together, there's a ridge there and there's a ridge on that side. I'm going to take some of this texture and try to cover that up. So some of the cornstarch and paint that we had sitting here, I'm just going to try to, I might do the whole pumpkin. I think I will. I think that's what I'll do. I'm going to give this whole pumpkin some texture just on the bottom part, and hopefully it will also cover up that line that's on there as well. I don't want to pounce it as much. I think I'm just going to kind of brush it on. A little heavier where that crease is, that little crack. Yeah, that'll work. I'm trying to kind of get underneath where we glued that down, just so that there's no of the orange poking through. It's just giving that pumpkin a little bit more texture. It's also helping cover up the rest of that orange that's on there. Which pumpkins, they're all different colors these days, but most of them are orange. But we're going to make this one, probably going to leave it white. But then I want to do some watercolor on the top with the sunflower. All right, so here's that other crease. So I'm going to go a little bit heavier there and try to cover up that little crack. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Almost got all the way around. I'll have to hold it by its stem. Hope it don't break. So this is just, I've just mixed some cornstarch in with my farmhouse paint so I can give some texture. And this is going to help cover up that little seam that's on the pumpkin and also make the pumpkin have a little bit of texture to it. I almost got it. This is another one I will have to post later to show you the final product. But look at there. All right, so that's the second coat with some texture. She looks pretty good, right? Do I have one? I was looking to see. I don't have one back here. I was going to show you the before, but I don't have it. So I'm going to set her to the side. Actually, I'm going to set her on this. I'm going to start painting a little bit of the top before we close out today, just to show you how you can use farmhouse paint and like paint details. So I'm going to stick this brush in water so that it won't dry out and ruin my brush. So farmhouse paint is really tough and really strong. So once you're done using your brush, make sure you clean it out or wrap it up really good and airtight. You can throw it in the refrigerator. If you're going to use it within an hour or two, you can keep using it. But if you're not, you need to wash that brush out because it will ruin it. Farmhouse paint is very strong. It's a very strong paint. And once it dries, you can't really get it off without stripping. All right, I'm hoping I can open this Dijon. Pardon this loud noise. I got to pop it over here to try to get it to break that seal. Come on. It's not going to open. I'll do that off screen. It'll be too loud. So I have got some Lotus. This is one of my favorite colors. It's a beautiful mustard color. Set this out of the way. And I need a little plate. Give me just a second. I'm going to use some of this green. And I know for sure I'm going to water this down on top here. And I'm going to use probably some browns. I'm probably going to use a lot of my glaze with it to kind of tone it down because I want the stem to be brown but have a little bit of green in it. All the things. So first I'm going to start with just putting a little bit of yellow and kind of water it out as I go. I need a bowl of water. Grab that real quick. My yellow is pretty thick because it's been in here for a while. So I'm probably going to go in here and just kind of mix it and water it down a little bit. It doesn't take a whole lot. All right, so let's get in here and just start putting in some yellow. I'm just going to put it in random places and then come back with water and spread it out. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'm afraid to touch my camera that it will unhook, so I'm going to leave it alone. But I'm definitely going to want to tone this down a little bit, and I can do that with a glaze, or I can like water down some white. Let's try that. Water down a little bit of this farmhouse paint here. See if I can blend it in with there. Oh yeah. So I just got a little bit of watered down white, mixing it in to tone it down a little bit. And bring this up for y'all to see a little bit closer. So this is the sunflower mold on top with some leaves. I'm just watering down lotus and coming in here and trying to get some of the leaves. And we will play up all those details with either a glaze or a second color or third color. We're kind of going a little bit long, so I want to just get in here real quick and just show you a little bit. Add some water. If for some reason I get yellow on the part that I want to, I will just put a second coat over it with the farmhouse paint, and it will cover it. Just mix some water, very watered down lotus. Turn this where y'all can see it. We'll add water to water it down even more. Yeah, so this is the sunflower mold that I used on this. This is available on our website, cottage321.com. And it's just a layer of the leaves, the flower. I glued this onto the pumpkin while the mold was still wet, because then it'll shape to whatever shape you want it to, and glued it, let it dry, and now I'm painting it. We actually did the top portion of this last week's live Hot Mess Monday. If you do watch this and you would like to see a certain kind of DIY done, please leave it in the comments. Let me know. I promise I'll come back and read everything. I would love to hear your ideas, things that you would like to see us do as a DIY. I have a kind of a fairly big project I want to do with you guys, but I really want to make sure I'm organized with it and don't just like do it on a whim. I have this old chair that I got basically for free. It was sitting beside the dump. Nobody wanted it. It had a lot of stains on the fabric. I brought it home and I cleaned it. I cleaned it like crazy with all kind of anti-germ and all that kind of stuff, bleach, and made sure it's clean. And I am wanting to paint some of the fabric. I'm wanting to reupholster with maybe like an old coffee bag, like the old burlap coffee bag, and also like do stencil or either a transfer on it. All right, let's do some green. Let me wash this out real quick. Let's do some green on the leaves real quick. Almost done, and we'll call it a day. Again, if y'all are watching, if you could share this, if you're on Facebook, you can share it. I would appreciate it. Something I could do with grandkids. Oh, that's a great idea on the cheap side. The youngest is 6. That's a great idea. I do have some ideas for Christmas signs or like Christmas trees. That would be fun, Anne. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate that. So I really don't like how green this is. I'm just going to just put a little bit on here. I'm going to wipe some of it off. Come in with water. And I'm probably going to come back over this whole little section here. And I had really good results with the stain, the farmhouse paint stain, but I know the glaze would do good too. So anyway, you get the idea. And it's so hard to think of Christmas already, but it's already everywhere. Thank you. I appreciate that. You may be the only one watching. You may be the only one watching right now. Are you you're on Facebook? Thank you for watching. I really appreciate that. This is fun. This is like super therapy. And I just decided I'm just going to start doing lives because it makes me do it. There's so many things around the store that has to be done that I get sidetracked as soon as I walk in the door. But because I have this scheduled, I have to do it. So I have to tell y'all a little story. When I was younger, back in my skinny days before kids, me and my husband, we lived in Indianapolis, and we worked out. We worked out every day. We'd go to the gym after work. We didn't have any family or friends that lived near us because we're originally from North Carolina, so we didn't know anybody in Indiana. And we would go in the evenings and work out at the gym. And y'all wouldn't believe me, but I used to be severely shy, severely. But anyway, one of the guys, I had been working out there for a long time, and one of the guys was like, you know what, we are really short-staffed on teachers. Would you be interested in teaching aerobics? And I was like, oh, no way in heck. Well, needless to say, he worked with me, and I became an aerobics instructor. And I was an aerobics instructor probably, I don't know, 10 years or more. You can't tell it now, but I was, and I loved it. But it worked me out of being shy. And also, the same reason I was telling y'all I'm doing these hot mess lives, it makes me do this. It made me go work out. It made me do that. And working out is also a mental thing. Like it just helps you mentally feel better about yourself and just feel better, period. I want to do one more thing. Let me see if I can find my glaze. I think it's up here. That's the clear coat. We're going to just try to do, that's the maple. Let's try the dark walnut. And I just want to see how it looks on it. We're almost done. Did you go work out this morning, Ann? Good job. I need to start working out again. I really do. Menopause has kicked in, and I am, it's kicking my butt. All right, I am actually going to use our stain and see how it does. And it is a water-based stain, so I should be able to add water to it too. And I'm actually going to try to wipe it down as well and see if I can just rub it like a stain. Oh, yeah. And it's kind of like taking off and leaving some white as well. I kind of like that. Look, I pulled off some of the white, but I can fix that later. Can y'all see that dark? Looks kind of cool. I'm probably going to do a little bit of this on the flower as well. So I start out with brushes and then I end up using my fingers because I don't know, I can control it a little bit better. Do this side. You can always come back with water while it's still kind of wet and blend it in. I kind of like that. Okay, so I'm going to keep playing with this forever. I don't want to keep y'all on here any longer. We have gone past an hour, so I'm going to call it wraps. I'm going to try to get all of this done today, possibly, and I will post a picture for you guys to see the final products. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, I'm Wendy with Cottage 321. You can shop cottage321.com, or you can visit us here in Hudson, North Carolina if you'd like to. And we would love for you to come visit us. We ship anywhere in the United States. You can find all the products I used today on our website, except for the cornstarch. I bought that at the dollar store, probably super cheap. You can find that anywhere. But anyway, thank you so much. I hope y'all have an awesome rest of your Monday. Hopefully the rest of my day won't be quite as hot a mess as it was this morning. Thank you so much. Y'all have an awesome one. See you later.